What's up, good people? Welcome to Bernard Riley Reviews, where I review whatever random things I find on the internet that I think is interesting. And what I do here, this is a place where we attack ideas and not people. With that said, this video that I stumbled across on Instagrammer Tony Baker, very funny guy. He posted this on Instagram. It was a video that he reposted this on Instagram. It was a video that I saw a while back before I even had a channel. And I wish I had a platform to talk about it back then, but I got one now. Got a few people who want to hear what I got to say. So I do want to respond to this video right here. We about to roll it. We about to let it go. About to get it popping. Let's go. Let's get it.
My father has told me that if a woman's over 32, never been married, never had any kids, there's something wrong with her.
All right. Tell your daddy. That if you find a woman who is 32 years old, don't have any kids, never been married, tell your daddy that she's educated and that she's planning to make financial decisions so she can afford the children that she has and send them to college instead of having them standing at the L stop. She can drive a Lexus to work. Tell your daddy that the woman is a boss.
All right. It was a lot there. A lot to unpack there. I'm going to start off with the brother because he did say some things that I have some disagreement with. So I'll start with him before I get into what the sweet young lady said. Okay. The brother, he said his father told him that if she's over 32, not married, over 30, let's get it right, over 32, not married, no kids. That's three things, 3 strikes. She's over 32, she's not married, no kids. Something is wrong with her. Got some disagreement there. And I'll explain why. See, here's the deal. If she's over 32 and she's never been married, should she have kids then? But I understand the counter argument is, well, why haven't anyone married her? I gotta take a sip. The argument is, why haven't anyone married her? And that brings us to what the sweet young lady said. It's an ideology that they have. But far as the woman being over 32, not being married, not having any kids, it's some good there because she haven't gotten married. And a woman, show me a 32-year-old woman, especially an attractive one, or just one who was just out there dating and sexually active and getting it in from 16 to 32. Prime hot girl summer years. Show me a girl who's hot girl summered it up with a few little relationships in between. Show me one that got it in from 16 to 32 and never got pregnant. I'll show you a woman who was more than likely probably on birth control or dealt with more responsible guys that wore condoms, or maybe she was on birth control or she required condoms. Chances are, show me a woman over 32, no kids, never been married. I'll show you a woman who was probably still getting it in nonetheless. Still having a good time. Probably still took a few girls' trips or 2 or 3 or 17. But probably was on birth control and being responsible while doing it. And I'm all for people living a free, happy, casual sex life. Just do it responsibly. Don't be making a bunch of kids in messed up situations. So I can't knock the 32-year-old woman, never been married, no kids. I'm not going to get in the business of criticizing that. However, when you ask the simple question, why have she never been married? Then it gets interesting, because the default answer is, hey, men don't want to get married. Nobody never proposed to her. Blah, 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 blah. We know the whole story. When you listen to the woman, the sweet young lady who was from ground zero of the generation of women of strong, independent, don't need no man ideology. Remember, we're here to attack ideas, not people. It was her ideas. It was the ideas in their head. You saw the jumping up, clapping, the clapping and weave, patting and celebrating when she was saying she's educated. Educated. They're glorifying the notion that black women are the most educated, which they're not. All the data shows that they're not. Other women are more educated than black women. Well, by other women, I mean Asian women and white women. It's Asian women, white women, Hispanic women. No, sorry, scratch that. Asian women, white women, black women, Hispanic women. And I say this all the time on my live show. Live show daily, roughly 9 a.m. I'll be on CP time. Gonna start on time. Work with me though. With men, white men, no, sorry, scratch that. Asian men, white men, black men, Hispanic men. Black women fall right in line where we're at. And even if they say, oh, but we got more degrees and more this, more that than y'all do, then okay, that's fine. Because white women got more bachelor's degrees than white women, Hispanic and Latino. White women got more bachelor's degrees and all degrees than white men. The same with Hispanic and Latino women. They got more degrees. They're more educated than their men. Asian women and Asian men are the only place where there's some competition. You know, you look at 1 year, Asian women might be up, the other year, Asian men might be down. It's like 51% of Asian men have at least a bachelor's degree, and 50% of Asian women have at least a bachelor's degree. Black women are way down in the 22 to 25% of them, depending on what stats you look at. But for the most part, it's somewhere in that 23% range of black women between the age of 25 and 54 to have bachelor's degrees. Black men are right at about 17. Well, there's more recent stats that put us at 19. So it's not that big of a gap. And the gap between white men and white women is somewhere in the area of about 34% of them, 34% of white women, no, 38% of white women, something like 34% of white men have bachelor's degrees. You see how this works? So the whole trumped up elevation of educated, she's building a financial future. The average educated black woman, $45,000 a year, about $900 a week, which is good. That's a solid American living that puts you in the middle class. Congratulations. But they want to talk about it like we bosses. She said it at the end. She's a boss. She's pulling up in a Lexus. She's able to afford the children that she's going to have without a husband. Oops. You see how that works? I believe the great Scheherazade Ali said, white women go to school to find a husband. Black women go to school and get an education so they can prove that they don't need one. And for anybody who's quick right now to say, well, those other men provide more, I've broken down the numbers. Plenty of ways to show that the average white man makes about $50K, the average black man around $40K, the average Hispanic and Latino man, so Latino man less than average black man. And so it's but anyway, our women, yes, our women, they have a glorified view of singlehood. That's the ideology that we're attacking here. That this whole view of a woman not taking the proper precautions to get a man who's willing to commit to her. So there's no gap there. The men are available. Shout out to Hafez, I hope I said his name right, from the Roommates, and Kevin Samuels, who broke this down and said there are more men out there on the market. If you take two categories, employed with no kids, there are more employed men with no kids. More employed black men with no kids out on the market than what there are employed black women with no kids out on the market. And that's major. That's major. So this stay single ideology that they have. Make all the provisions for yourself by yourself so you can take care of these kids by yourself ideology is part of what's costing them. And all the data shows that you get pregnant before you get married, regardless of what you're doing. Statistically, you're going to be at a deficit. It's going to increase the probability that you're going to be in poverty. And I don't even spend that much time talking about the school debt and all the other things and how the net worth is $5 of the average Black woman. But I don't spend that much time on that one. But I will talk about how if the thing that's the problem of Black women being perpetually single, Black women being single mothers, when you listen to them talk, given their full creative control to plan out their own life, they ultimately plan out a single life where they make it well, they get into an area where pregnancies could potentially be high risk. They try to make all the provisions and get into that area, and before they get to the point where it's really high risk pregnancies, at around that point, that's where they go and get pregnant. That's why there's recent data that shows that the single mother rate is not the little teeny, not the teenagers, not the early 20s. No, it's in them 30s, them late 30s, going into the mid and late 30s. That's where the single mother rate is really happening among Black people, because the ideologies, the ideas, the strong, independent, don't need no man. They don't want to cash out early if they meet that competent, productive guy who's willing to commit to them. Many of them feel that they can do better. They can get better. They stay out on the market longer. The longer they on the market, the lower they value. I'm not trying to get deep into the high value, low value thing that Kevin Samuels talk about on his show, but we get it. We get it. And that's what this video is a reflection of. And it's important. The reason I want to make sure I talk about this is because where do these ideas come from? They're passed down to the younger women by women like the lady in the video. An older lady, she looked to be over 50, and she's passionately talking about, that whole ideology, do it by yourself without a man mentality. But then men get charged up for not being there, or all the things I don't even need to do a breakdown of all of that. All the things that they charge up men with. It's the women who are passionately single, passionately applauding, doing it by themselves. And if they were performing at the level of Asian men, then I had to take my hands. Whatever, they winning. When you look at all the data, they're not winning. Financially, they're scraping the bottom, they're only ahead of Hispanic women when it comes to median income. They're almost non-existent in terms of the net worth. Their education, they're ranked about where you would expect, right? Like I broke down earlier. So it's really, it's no benefit. Nobody is winning. The Black community is not winning by that ideology that they're applauding. Black women are not winning by doing that. Black children are not winning by that. And ultimately, Black people are not winning by that ideology. But that's the idea, the ideology, the mentality, the strong, independent, don't need no man mentality, that you saw a woman who mathematically was probably born maybe late 60s. She's born and bred in it. And rotten apple poisoning all the young ripe apples. Okay, and I said we don't attack people, but I just called her a rotten apple. But you get the point. You get the point. They out there poisoning the the fresh and ripe apples, not understanding the importance, the statistical mathematical outcomes of going it alone as a woman. But that's it. That's all we got on this. Thank you for watching, and we are out of here. Peace.